There you go. Webinar starting. Keep it down. Okay.
I love it. How many kids do you have out there? Did you just yell out?
I've got 4. That was their grandma just joining.
That's awesome.
He's visiting from the Okanagan, which I don't know if you know the landscape of Canada, but
yeah, I do not. But I do see the on-air light went on, so that's kind of cool. Which I guess that means we can just get this thing kicked off. Marcus Willard from Street Text. How are you today, my man?
Doing awesome. Jason Martin from where?
Jason Martin Group, Washington D.C.
Washington D.C. Awesome. That's a good place to be. It's where you can make a huge difference.
You can make a huge difference from anywhere in the world, including inside of a trailer, which is your studio here. I know people are sitting there watching, going, "Where's he coming to us from? This thing looks awesome." Tell us where you're sitting and what you got going on quickly.
Dude, I get this question all the time. Some people ask, is it a boat? Some people ask, is it a bus or a Volkswagen? It's actually a converted trailer. So, typically handyman carpenters, they buy these things and they haul tools behind. This, my wife converted, and she made a podcast station. She runs she was in broadcasting and journalism. She had a TV show, and so this was her baby, and then I just hijacked it and took it over when we moved and made it my office. Now it's sitting in front of our home so I can get away from my kids.
I love it. And we were talking earlier, you get your wife kicks you out and you go out to the trailer, and it's not a bad thing. You just spend the night out there and have a good time.
No, it's not. And I actually have another building on the back that we just created. I call it my dojo, my gym. That's a whole nother story. So I have some places, the man cave is important.
It's well thought out. Well, listen, everybody's here because it's that time of year. Folks need leads. I know that you guys are out there watching right now. We really all need, I think this is nationwide, we all need seller leads. We're going to get into that. And Marcus is a Facebook ad specialist. The topic that called everyone's attention that's here today is the lead generation formula. Become a lead generation specialist. And if you're here, it's because you want to become a lead generation specialist and because you need the formula to do so. Hand raised right here. We'll be working with. I was on the phone with Marcus yesterday. We'll be working with Street Text. Jason Martin Group will be working with Street Text here very soon as we get that launched, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but I'm about to learn, and I'm excited that Marcus is here to talk it through. If you guys have questions, go ahead and throw them up. We will we'll try and get to them. We'll do our best to answer them real time if we can. So Marcus, kick us off, man, and I'm just going to jump in with questions as necessary.
I love it, and I'll do a slide presentation to make this easy. I know, like most people, you're visual, so you got to see. And the question I have for everybody: number 1, use the chat feature. Let us know where you're from, and number 2, let us know if you have any previous experience generating leads, and not just generating any leads. I want to know if you have any previous experience generating leads on Facebook. Okay, so number 1, tell us where you're from. Number 2, in the chat feature, do you have any previous experience Facebook lead generation? That'll be helpful as we field your questions, and we'll get started, because my intention today is to teach you. My intention today is to allow you to become somebody who can go to Facebook right now and open the lead floodgates, not needing anything other than knowing these 4 principles I'm about to teach you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go in presentation mode. Let me know when you guys can see this. Are we good?
Yeah.
If we get to the right slide. All right, here we go. Okay, so how to become a lead generation machine. The quadrant to becoming a lead generation. What do I mean by that? Well, there are 4 principles. 4 principles I call the quadrant of lead generation. This is going to be key for you to become a badass lead generation machine overnight. But if at the end you want to do this in a more simpler way, in a way that it will 10x results, that allow you to launch proven templated ads within seconds, I'll give you that option too. But this is something I want you to be able to take away and apply right now. So if you have any familiarity with the Facebook Ad Manager, do this, test it, okay? When you get off of this webinar, take that one action, and I promise you will get results. Okay. This is a quick slide about me real quick, not that you need to know, but I have a background in marketing. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, if you guys know where that is, in California. I got my real estate license shortly after in 2007, and the market tanked. And so I shifted real quickly into what I knew how to do really well, which was working out. I was a personal trainer, and I got into CrossFit, and I competed a little bit. But then in 2015, things ended there, and I met John and Steve, those two handsome fellas on the right of me in the middle. That picture on the right of that is my family. I have 4 kids. Jason, you have 3, right?
Yes, I do. I've got 3.
Okay, how old are they?
Twins that are 14 and a 10-year-old little girl.
Awesome. I've got an 8-year-old Austin, Elijah 6, Jackson 2, and then our little baby girl, Lily Grace. That's my dog Zuma. We also have chickens and ducks.
That's
Out
awesome.
of property too. So these guys in the middle I met at Starbucks in 2015. That was back in the day where it literally took us 30 minutes to build an ad and a funnel. An ad and a funnel combined. A funnel would be where the leads are captured with the email automations and SMS going out. That's a whole marketing funnel altogether. It took us 30 minutes just to do that. And I used to have, like when they first hired me, we didn't have any marketing or advertising. I was the marketing and advertising, and I have to cold call real estate agents. And I'd say something like, hey, this is Marcus from Street Text, just looking for 30 seconds of your time. If you don't love what I'm about to say, you can hang up on me. That was what I was doing back then. Fast forward to today.
And they hung up on you, by the way? Most
No. Like literally, I would say we have a proprietary Facebook lead generation funnel that will literally get you seller and buyer leads overnight. How does that sound? And a lot of the time, like, okay, tell me what you have.
Nice.
I get that second. So the key was, the opening line. Or if I messed up, it'd be like, click.
By the way, you still have that in you. The way you just presented that, like that's still fresh with you. It might have been 6 years ago, but it's still there. I hear it.
It's still there. Yeah, it's burned in me. So, fast forward today, and we are, we've made some progress. And when I say progress, 125,000 ads we set up since 2014, 5,160,000 leads. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of clout in the space of Facebook, I think. So what I'm about to teach you is based off of this experience right here.
Can you? It's a basic question, but and by the way, we'll say hi to everybody in a second. They're filling up the chat with the location, so that's exciting. We'll say hi in a minute. What defines a lead?
So for us, what defines a lead is a captured piece of information. So we're like there's 2 different. Well, you're going to learn this. So there's actually 11 objectives on Facebook to generate leads in marketing, but there's the main one most people are aware of are something called a lead ad. And a lead ad would be capturing name, phone number, and email off the click. What Street Text is known for, and we've been known for since 2015, is a dynamic lead capture funnel starting with an address collection, specifically for seller leads. And so we start with that piece of information as a qualified lead. And then it goes deeper into that strategy. And you'll see, I'll give you some examples, but starting with the address, followed by the email, information about their home, time frame for selling, name and phone number. It's done in that sequence.
Got it. All right. Thank you for answering that. And let me get through these. Hi, Bill in Michigan. And we've got folks from Toronto, Portugal, Tracy's in Detroit, Lawrenceville, Georgia, St. Louis, Missouri. We see all you guys. So thanks for being a part of it.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, guys. We generate leads all over the map. US, Canada, even Australia, New Zealand, and other places too. I mean, Facebook is all over the world. It's a meta now, by the way. Meta, just so you know. Okay, next up. So let me know once you can see the next slide. Perfect. Can you guys see it? Awesome. Okay, so how do we open up the lead generation floodgates. And I'm going to sum it up in about 4 simple steps. But as I was saying, you may not know this, but if you go to the Facebook Ad Manager right now, there are 11 marketing objectives that you can choose from. And so unless you're an expert, a lot of you wouldn't even know where to begin, right? That's the key, is like there's things like page post, traffic, boosting, sponsored, conversion, lead ads. Okay, so just so you know, I like to call it the labyrinth of frustration and confusion at times. And what we're going to show you is just something simple today that you can apply right now. So simple that a 5th grader could do this. That's my intention here, is that you can learn this that fast. You can apply this today. You can go to your Facebook Ad Manager, Instagram, and make leads rain. Sound cool?
It does. Other than the 5th grader comment, what's the show out there smarter than a 5th grader? I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
After I watch that, so you might need to trim that down to like.
Okay, how about we go kindergarten? Kindergarten level sound good? Kindergarten.
Let's go there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go kindergarten. If that sounds awesome, write yes in the chat. Yes, I want to open up the floodgates of Facebook lead generation. Yes. Okay, write that in the chat. I want to know that you're paying attention. Awesome. Okay, so what are the principles? What are the principles? Well, this is the quadrant of lead generation. These are the pillars. These are the foundation of running a badass ad. Number 1, and most important in my mind, is ad creative. Okay? Ad creative, about to show you. Okay, that's the image. Get the image in your mind. Okay? Surprise, surprise. You guys all know when you scroll down your Facebook newsfeed today, right, that you're being flooded and inundated all day long with imagery and video and so forth. And before you probably already have this question in your mind right now, is like, isn't videos the way to go for marketing? Actually, no, not for lead generation purposes, for interrupting the feed and getting them to click through and provide their information. It's ad creative, it's ad imagery, it's static. Okay? Video is awesome for retargeting. Video is awesome after you have brand recognition. Video is awesome after you develop the know, like, and trust model. Okay? So get that in your mind. Add creative, imagery, stops the scroll, click. Because we all need that click to start the conversation, especially when we're generating leads. Number 2, add copy. Add copy. The example would be, I'm going after sellers. Okay? Sellers would say something like, if someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, find its value in the current market? Or, what's your home really worth? Enter your address to receive your home value. That would be an ad copy example. Very simple, straight to the point, call to action. And then there's the split testing and the A/B testing. And I'm going to go through that with you in slides coming up here. I just wanted to stop there because it's going to be more visual for you to see what I'm talking about and distinguish between the two. But this is the quadrant. So we nail these down today, guys. You will become a lead gen machine overnight. How's that sound? Sound good?
Sounds awesome to me. And if you guys see me looking down, I'm not checking my phone, by the way. I'm actually taking notes because I too am a student. So we're just I'm here to learn.
Hey, there's a great teaching or a quote that I read for a book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Remember that one?
I love it.
All right. So ad creative. 70% of campaign success is due to the creative that's within it. Okay? So that's why I'm saying this is number 1. And the surprise behind this, guys, and I'm going to go into the next slide here, is that because of the Housing Discriminatory Act, you have to work within a 15-mile radius. So when you're targeting, when you're going after that area, the home sellers, the buyers, when you're marketing specifically for lead generation, you have to understand that your ad will be going and deployed to 15 miles around your desired neighborhood. So we teach something utilizing that pin drop. There's a little pin drop that develops a longitude, latitude. It shows you how to put that perfect 15-mile circle in that desired area. And there are ways basically to hack that ad creative, and I'm going to show you to really go after that preferred area within that 15 miles you're looking for. Because again, if you're going to stop someone's scroll in their feed, these images have to be local they have to feel organic and native to that 15-mile audience. So I will show you a few examples of that, but what I'll just tell you is it's not always your typical stock photos that people put with the blue house and the real estate. I think ultimately it comes down to images that people see every day. That could be landscapes, that could be landmarks, and so forth, things that you see all the time. And because we have great systems like Canva, you can build 3 or 4 images in one. And I'll show some examples shortly, but that's what I kind of want to get you in your mind. Add creative, local, organic, and native to your area. Don't always think it's that stock photo. It's just something people see every day. It could be a welcome to sign coming into that city, right? Something we drive by all the time that's really a landmark distinguished in that 15-mile area radius. I've seen things like clock towers and, just city landscapes, all these things that you could see. The welcome to signs work wonderfully, but that's where I want you to really focus on first, on this ad creative side. And then there's the ad copy. So the ad copy is what's surrounding that ad creative, okay, with the images. The ad copy is that simple, easy, short, straight to the point call to action. As I was saying, what's your home really worth, right? That's the first thing they see with an image. Enter your address to receive your home value. Learn our top tips for anyone thinking about selling their home. They may not be what you think they are. Early notification list. Be the first to receive a list of condos in Toronto under $9.99, right? That type of thing. So simple, straight to the point. Because you know what? You're again, it's so important to think empathy while you're going through. If you remember the experience that everybody is having today, it's simple. Just go to your Facebook app right now on your phone and start scrolling, right? What stops that scroll? And so that is in itself, as you start scrolling down your phone, that is the important takeaway there, is that image, that ad copy stops the scroll. In that moment, subconsciously, that person stops and clicks. And that's the big takeaway, because you need that combination there. And really, you need that combination within the first, and I'm going to show you this, 500 people, okay? Because this right here is the big takeaway. This is called the split test. Something Street Text has been known for a long time. Anybody that has that experience with Street Text will tell you that when we ask you to launch one ad, we're basically saying launch 3 at the same time. I'll say that again. And this is crazy, Jason. People always ask this, is like, why would you do that? I'm talking about the same ad image, the same ad copy, okay, the same targeting, and instead of one ad, you're launching 3. Because guess what? What's the one variable that we have here? What's the one thing you have no control over? What do you think? Anybody? Anybody want to guess? Put your guess in the chat. It's your audience.
Not be afraid. Throw your guesses in and your questions as well, guys. I'm looking real time for you guys. So anybody wants to take a guess?
It's the audience, Jason. It's the audience. It's because guess what? When you're talking 15 miles here, Facebook is randomly selecting. It's like taking a shotgun at that 15 miles and it just sprays everywhere. And so you don't know where Facebook's going to find relevancy. They used to have a score from 1 to 10 back in the early days of Facebook marketing of what your relevancy score was. So now, how to find that algorithm, it's not just clicks, because clicks are great, but whatever, if you don't have clicks that convert into actual submissions, then you're wasting money for clicks, right? It's just people are clicking and you're not getting anything. The important is not just the quantity of lead flow, but the quality of information that is being provided as well. And the split test will reveal that, especially with seller ads as they put in their address. Because when the moment there's addresses being submitted on a seller side of lead generation, it start finding more like people. It finds more like neighborhoods in that area because it's found relevancy in that particular pocket of the 15 miles. So that's huge, because if you're serving, there's a particular neighborhood within that desired market that you want to be a part of, and you find it's like $1 million home or really one of the higher end prestigious neighborhoods, you obviously want more like that in that neighborhood, where 5, 10, 15 miles out, it might go from $1 million to 100,000. That's the case in some markets across the US. right? Or places you just don't want to serve. So split testing will help you find that ideal lead that you're looking for. Okay.
Got it. And by the way, Roy, we see you. You got the right answer and audience, Roy. Congratulations. I feel
Good
like we
job,
need
Roy.
to give Roy a prize here of some sort. I don't know.
You get a trial, Roy. You get a trial.
We'll talk about that. Is it free? Yes.
Yes. Obviously, your ad spend isn't, but we'll make sure that ad spend with Facebook is dialed in for you. Okay. So, and then the last part of that is A/B testing, because we got ad creative, right? The quadrant. We're going back to the quadrant. Think square. We've got the ad creative, the ad copy that we just, nailed in. We've got the split testing, which is, a minimum of 3 ads at the same time. Same ad, same image, same copy. It's just going to randomly select those audiences, and about 24 to 48 hours later, you're going to have I believe sometimes there's competing ads, but you'll have a winner that's emerging. I also like to say split testing is like going to Las Vegas, sitting down at the blackjack table, and knowing that if you play 3 or 5 hands versus playing 1 hand, you're more likely to get that blackjack. Right? That's easy for us to get. It's like the more hands you play is like the obvious. The more levers you pull, it's your kind of way of gaming Facebook. You spend a little bit more up front, and then you quickly turn off the ad that's underperforming and let the front runner win. The A/B testing is one variable change that you test against. So I like to show, and I'm going to show Linnea. She's one of my favorite people on the side that I get the pleasure of working with, and she's so good at optimizing this A/B testing within the one of our most popular seller ads funnel templates. It's a funnel that basically says what's your home really worth. Enter your address to receive your home value. But the A/B test of that is you keep everything the same except for one change. In her case, she likes to always change the ad creative. So instead of doing a map like this, what's your home really worth, enter your address, receive your home value. Okay, she goes, and I'll show some examples here. She goes and tests them in 3s with all these different images in that same context of what's your home really worth, enter your address to receive your home value. And she'll do it over and over again. Like she's got homes. She goes in and tries things during the holidays, during the New Year's. You can see like watching your home value skyrocket. She tries different images all the time. She's the queen of A/B testing this particular funnel to find the results. And the one that actually hit the home run for her in her particular market, that was just crushing it for a long time. She even tried her own picture. It didn't work for her. So at the end of the day, it was this one right here. Let me show you. Check that out. This was her game winner for the sellers. Let me tell you what I love about this one, Jason. The reason why I love it so much is that we use maps every single day. We all do, whether we know it or not. When we go places, we just, we're so used to just locking it into our phone and saying, Siri, go get me to this place or whatever. Your Google Maps or those applications on your phone. So no one looks at a map thinking there's a real estate agent trying to get leads from them. So the organic and native idea of a map is awesome. It's been like this for 6 years. It's just still awesome. Did you know that this ad right here, or anything out of this funnel, has a 60% on average click to contact ratio? So that means 6 out of every 10 clicks will click this and submit the address.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's an overwhelming number, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and if you sit I believe anywhere from 5 to 9% click to contact ratio, you're known as a good marketer in terms of Facebook standards. So we just 10x that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now this is unique though, because this is a conversion pixel that StreetText uses the dynamic lead capture form to collect. It's not, you have to have, like, you probably can't see this, but LinneaCarverGroup.com on here on the bottom, and then when they go to click on that, there's a LinneaCarverGroup.com right here. That domain is required for you to run lead capture this way. And so that as a result of the Apple iOS update that happened, and this, most people don't know this stuff because they don't want to, right? Who cares? I just want leads. And so that's, if unless you're a Facebook expert or you're hiring an agency, you probably wouldn't know a lot of these changes that are taking place on Facebook every single month. But this is something that came about that required this step to be taken before you can run this, or else you're stuck to running lead ads, which is a different form altogether. The lead ad most of you are probably familiar with would be something like, let me see if I can find an example here for you. So this would be a buyer ad, Jason, and this is like see all available 3-bedroom homes in Bonnie Lake, right? So if someone clicks on that, see how it automatically captures my name, phone number, and email?
Mm-hmm.
See the difference between the dynamic capture? Because if I go into here and I give you my address, and I can put it anywhere, click analyze my property, now this new form pops open, and the second piece of that capture is an email. And I have to actually click on a box to give you email permission to be contacted. And then it goes deeper into the funnel. It tells you the condition of the property, age, updates, renovations. This is like it's psychology. It's the understanding of this type of interruption-based marketing works best because you're dynamically capturing and you're almost qualifying this lead with those steps. And the reason why I love it so much is that the integrity behind the ask is so awesome. What's your home really worth? Enter your address to receive your home value. If I try to put a lead ad right here and try to give you make you give you my name, phone number, and email, most of the time people would drop off because they're like, well, I didn't ask for that. I just wanted my home value. So that's the difference there with a lead ad, which lead ad are perfect for lists, for listings, for buyer style of call to actions. Okay? Because that takes me right to viewing the 3-bedroom homes. That's the redirect URL should take me right to that place of that list that I wanted from Facebook. Whereas the difference here is if I give you more information, tell you about my sell date, etc., I'm dynamically capturing that so I can fill this funnel out. And then here's the name and phone number. It's the fourth layer within that capture. And all this saying, I say this because no matter where they are in that capture, it is collecting information along the way. So let's say I drop out of the address, it still goes to me. Let's say I drop out after the email, it still goes to me, right? And that's the ticket there, guys. Because yeah, I know when I went on off a little tangent here, so I'll get back into the optimization of this, but that is going to be, it's going to be huge for you to optimize all of this, but understand a little bit of these marketing objectives that I'm talking about, because if everybody wants seller leads, which I'm assuming they do, everybody wants a seller lead right now, just know there's an art to it. This is where you can go do that if you understand how to dynamically capture and you understand those landing pages that way and the conversion pixel, or you can look to a solution that's mastered that already.
We talked about this earlier before we went live here. Everybody wants the seller leads, and this was my question to you. But what percentage of leads are you generating are seller versus buyer leads? And your answer was?
Man, I would say it's 50-50 at this point. I mean, I'll put it, most of you, if you're familiar with LabCoatAgent moderator Janky Patel, would know that she is famous in street text for using our buyer ads. She did 68 deals with Facebook last year just from street text buyer ads. So it's, and then with that being said, she told me half of those were sellers as well. So they clicked on the buyer ad looking to buy, but they had an asset to sell. And this is in Northern California. This is a $1.3 million market average at that, it's from what I heard in that area.
2 for 1. That's awesome.
2 for 1. I mean, so it all comes down to, conversion. And that's a whole nother thing. We're talking about lead generation today, but I will highlight just a piece of that in a second because, Janky's highly leveraged. Anyone that knows her, she's got ISAs and VAs and social media coordinators, and she's trained them all out of the Philippines. And like that in itself is amazing. It's an art, and that doesn't just happen overnight. But so this is the A/B testing, just different images or different copy. And what I will tell you, and I'm using Lene in this example because I love how she uses the A/B testing and split testing. So, this was in January. She booked her 7th listing appointment from Street Text. But what I love about her, it's just, she's like everybody else out there. She didn't have a background in real estate. She just got, she's trying to figure out where to put her marketing and advertising money. And, she just became really smart with process. But it first started with understanding that lead generation was something you wanted to master first, because then everything can be a byproduct of that. So she's now up to 12 total appointments since July of last year that she set from Street Text leads. She spends about $10 a day on Facebook. I think it's pretty easy to say, most people could set aside $300 or more. I would say $300 to $500, because you also, we have to think about is you can set your ad spend at $10 a day, but when we're split testing, when we're A/B testing, for a few days, we're going to be a little bit more aggressive. So for example, a split test would mean instead of $10, I'm launching 1, 2, 3, that's $30, $10 each ad. And then as soon as I find the forerunner in that, it could take me 24 to 40 hours. I turn off 2 of them and leave the 1 going. And that's that split testing or A/B testing variation that I was showing you here with these different examples. You can see she does everything in 3s. Do you see what I'm seeing here?
Yep.
Right? And so when she arrives on what her best ad is, like, I'll show you,
can you slow that down for us and just quantify what the best ad is?
And here's the important part. Okay, so here's a buyer ad. So what you're seeing here, which you could try to figure out in the ad manager yourself. There's just too many stats to really try to figure out. So we break it down to something simple for you. How much you spending? What's your cost per lead is really the main takeaway. Clicks are fine, but at the end of the day, we want to know how much you're spending. What's that cost per lead per spend? So for example, on this $10 ad she kept on the longest out of all 3 of these, she was averaging a $4 full contact, name, phone number, and email on this one. So she spent $347, and she got this to about $4 a full contact. That was the lifetime of this particular ad. And so what she does in the beginning is she tests all 3 of them to find which one is crushing the most for her, and then she leaves the best one on. There's little toggle switches. So that's the kind of the key on there as she's trying to figure out in that 24 to 40 hour period. She'll go, $9.07 here, $9.33 spent here. Like, she could have went a little bit longer, but she probably found something she really liked early on, and then she left it on. And that's how you do that split testing, right? And so the other example here is this, what's your home really worth, that I was showing you, that was her kind of forerunner. If you look at this one up here, she spent $25, generated 6 addresses, but only 1 gave the email. That was a high $24 email that she got. So she turned that off. This one, similarly, she left on a little bit longer because it was probably getting some good action, but not quite. $1.20 cost per click, but only 16 addresses, and then 5 of those provided an email at $11. The game winner for her was this one, and it got a $2.19 address and about a $6 contact. So with full information, that's email, could have been information about their home, time frame for selling, name and phone number. So the deal there was, if you divide 290 by 510, it's higher. It's about more like 60% click to contact ratio. So that's the click to contact ratio I'm talking about. And then you can see how the emails were coming out of that too, 103 of those. This is why she kept this one on the longest.
I'm just doing some back of the envelope math here for those that are trying to stay with it. $6, 100 contacts, $600. If you had 100 phone numbers, guys, do you think you could get through a couple of them? Let's just say you got 1 as a listing with where prices are nationwide at the moment. It's a no-brainer. Just a couple of basic questions here to step back.
Yeah.
I get the sense that, first off, there's no lack of confidence. Anybody out there in any market, internationally, locally, whatever you want to say, it doesn't seem to be that there's any lack of confidence that the leads can be generated. Like, they're going to come in, aren't they, Marcus?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's never ever going to be a matter of lead generation. I mean, you got to understand every market's unique and different. If I run an ad in Beverly Hills, California, versus an ad in New Orleans, right? You're competing not just against real estate agents. You're competing against everyone auctioning an ad in that space. So it's an auction in itself, but there is smart ways to split an A/B so that you're making educated decisions within that 48-hour period, right? And then and obviously the marketing objectives you're using. But once you here at Street Text, for example, you have an assigned guide that walks you through that and really reinforces that for you and teaches you. It's like that teach a man or woman how to fish. Like in the beginning, we're teaching you so that you can go on and be an expert yourself using our templates. Because at the end of the day, if I show you, we basically developed the Netflix of Facebook ads in the sense of, okay, you want buyers, you want sellers, you want to market your listings. The beauty behind them, they're all aggregated data that ranks our ads by lowest cost per lead across the nation. So when you're like, oh, well, if I look at this one, I'm pretty confident that 6,000 people are actively using this, producing a $4 lead. I should be able to replicate this in my market. It might be higher or lower, but it should be solid. And when you compare it to this benchmark,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key. Like for example, this "What's Your Home Really Worth" funnel. If you look at the 17,476 points this last month alone, it's producing a 60% click to contact ratio. Its average cost per address is $2.60. So
what is the learning curve time frame for somebody like myself who's never used Street Text? That's soon to change. How long am I going to need to be engaged in the training to understand?
Okay.
If I'm trying to get a handle on my own time as I am,
okay,
what are we looking at?
So you could go figure this out on Facebook, obviously, or if you had something like this, you're basically saying, what's your home really worth? Enter your address, receive your home value. Well, that's already set for you. The copy is there. So what am I doing here? Well, at this point, it's just asking me to pick a photo. So you're picking an organic or native photo that you would have uploaded yourself. I mean, you can use stock photos too. I always recommend pick something that is organic or native to your market. So, she's done stuff like this, like we talked about, but it could be something like this. This is a beautiful lake mountain view that everybody sees in the Bonnie Lake area. She's in Washington. This ad worked really well for her. Does that make sense? So once you upload that photo, then you got to understand that you just simply go in there and choose, let's just say Bonnie Lake here. And once I show you this, it'll help you understand, right? This is your targeting. This is that 15-mile minimum radius built in. It's so smart to understand what this looks like in your market. So you obviously want to adjust your ad image with that targeting in mind. And you can move this pin wherever you want. So once you lock into there, Jason, then you just click done and you go next. And then this is the split test. You pick your ad spend, how many of those you want to launch. If you want to go on Instagram and Facebook, deploy, bam, right? And so that's the beauty. And then what's happening in the background is Linnea's built in her, this is another topic, conversion, but she's built in her videos that automatically deploy if an email is inputted with BombBomb. Man, I don't even want to go there because the sky's the limit there, but I will tell you, like, at the end of the month, we're doing this unlock the true power and true potential of HomeBot, for example, because HomeBot, as an integration with Street Text and BombBomb, is out of this world for seller leads, and you can go in there and customize video experiences within HomeBot. So inexpensive. It's like $1 a day. You find your preferred lender. Anyway, we're going to do a webinar on that, but that's the type of things you learn, because the lead generation is like the tip of the iceberg. Everything else is a byproduct of your follow-up and process and what you can do to create a very authentic, genuine response.
So let's go into that for a second, because I think most folks that are sitting out there get it. The leads would come in. We could turn this on today and work with Street Text immediately and get the leads coming in. I'm afraid that if people just, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm afraid if we just do that, we're missing the game. The long-term game, like the top of the funnel, is really only the beginning part of the game, a crucial part of the game, but only the beginning part of the game. It's a long-term game. And what are the expectations from actual lead in your funnel to conversion time that you guys are experiencing?
I mean, I would say, like, if you're gonna really, and I'm talking about really become an expert at this top of funnel game, I'd go at least 6 months, if not a full year, because anybody can get lucky. Like, I've had so many people in trial get that lucky first appointment, but most people on Facebook today are just simply scrolling. And so it becomes a simple idea of, you got to shift your mindset to serving, not selling, to contribution, to education, to learning how to create conversations that are genuine and authentic. That's why video is so important. That's why HomeBot, for example, it's a beautiful touch point that you're that know, like, and trust model. They're sitting back, many of them, observing to see if you are actually truly someone who is that person, or if you're really just looking for the sale.
Got it.
And so their time frame will align when their time frame aligns. The key is asking the right questions. The key is winning friends and influencing people, and doing it in a way that really shows that you care. And so those are the people that do that best. If you're a transaction focused person, it may not be the best fit for you. But if you're a relationship focused person, it's there's nothing like it.
Got it. If you guys have questions, throw them out here, guys. Put them in the chat for us. We will field those real time, as much time as we have left here with those. So feel free.
Yeah, I mean, so here it is, guys. This is basically the formula for limited potential of seller and buyer leads. So obviously the problem is not going to be lead generation. The new problem that arrives after you figure this out is, how do you serve? How do you bring value to? How do you educate? How do you nurture all these leads that start coming into this funnel? It's database marketing. It's interruption-based marketing. It's like, I'm a huge football fan. Everybody wants the ball in the end zone, and they'll spend thousands of dollars and do exclusivity stuff with, like, Zillow and all these other platforms and Google, where the top of funnel is so beautiful because I'm giving you the ball at the 5-yard line, and I'm talking about the opposite end of the field. You have 95 yards left, and you can carry that ball into the end zone if you know how to create the right conversation. There's no other agents you're competing against. It's yours. But can you take that and incubate that? It's like, the seeds that you plant today are only as good as the soil you put them in.
Yeah, that concept right there allows you to really be in this game for a much longer period of time. But to me, it's a skill set that, if you learn the incubation period, if you learn how to stay in touch, you learn the touch points, that's universal to different platforms, or even your database as it currently stands. So I just think there's something there that it's really beneficial to go ahead and learn anyway. And while you're doing it, my guess is some of the stuff is going to drip out sooner than later, and then it's a repeat cycle. You've learned it, now it's dripping out. Now the funnel's flowing, and that's the goal. We did have a question there from, did you see that one? Sherry said, so the split testing is same ad 3 times, or do you make one simple change to each? Good question, Sherry.
Sherry, you do both. I mean, so yes, it's the same ad. The split testing would be the same ad, same copy, same imagery. The A/B test is one simple change. So you're gonna be going back and forth between splitting and A/Bing. So I would say always do the split. So whenever you launch one ad, whether you're marketing your own listing, whether you're going after a buyer, whether you're using a seller template, split the audience for the first 24 to 40 hours. You can test it yourself. I mean, start with something as simple as a $10 ad spend is usually a good one to start with. So that means $10 on one, $10 on the other, $10 on 3. You can do that yourself. Like, the idea with Street Text, it just launches them simultaneously. They're not actually going out at the same time. There's like microseconds.
Got it.
It's going out 1, 2, 3 separate audiences. And then the A/B test would be just a simple change.
Cool. Edgar says, do you have account managers, or does the agent handle all of the Facebook account management?
So that's a great question. You have an assigned guy that walks you through this, and then you become your own ad manager. Like, you don't even actually have to visit the ad manager any longer. Well, I guess it depends. It depends if you want to do it yourself. If you do it yourself, obviously you're your own ad manager. If you do it with Street Text, you have someone that guides you through it, but you're now working within the ad metrics and analytics within the Street Text dashboard. You don't even have to visit your Facebook ad manager again. It's all aggregated.
Got it. Here's a good one, Melissa. I like this one. When you split the audience and you drop that 15-mile radius pin, do you change the pin drop to capture the other audiences?
Because 15 miles is massive, in some cases millions of people, right? And so you don't know Facebook is making a algorithm determination or a relevancy score within that first 500 people reached. So each one of those ads that you split, those audiences are being split too. And so you don't know where Facebook's randomly deploying that. One might end up in the northeast quadrant, the other in the southwest, depending on where the clicks are happening and the relevancy is being obtained. So it's just going to randomly deploy it. So the more times you split that audience, the more chances you are finding the ad, really the analytics that you're looking for, the one that's not just about quantity of lead flow again. It could be the quality. You might say, you know what, I'm getting a little bit higher cost per lead with this split test ad, but it's in the areas that I prefer, and I'm gladly welcome that. Where this other ad that you're splitting may have given you more quantity of leads, but your areas that you would never actually want to be in.
You don't want service. Yeah, I got it. I totally get it. Well, thank you. What, Marcus, is there something that we didn't get to that you want to get to? One, we do have a promotion. StreetText does have a promotion for LabCoatAgents. What is that? Share that with us. There it is, 7-day trial.
7-day trial. That's right. So you guys, this is free. I highly suggest you take advantage of it. And if you've already done it in the past, do it again. I don't care if you've had a trial in the past with StreetText. We always welcome everybody back because it takes time. You need to learn how to use it. Let me give you a quick example. So when you're in something like a StreetText dashboard and you're trying to figure out, well, where do I even begin? You always want to begin on what's available to you. So the idea is we have lots of fun free training. If you're a highly leveraged person like Janky, you're going to want to learn how she does it. You're going to figure out her ISA and VA stuff. If you're someone maybe like Jennifer who loves BombBomb and has no help whatsoever, you are your own ISA, so you have to figure out how to wear all the hats in the beginning. You want to choose Jennifer. There's free stuff too. But the idea is we have unlimited amounts of training on the daily because we need to make you that understanding that it's not just your lead gen. You're quickly going to realize that, number one, if you want seller leads, you have to go get that domain, and we're there to get you set up with that. Number two, right, because seller leads, dynamic capture, you have to go address, email, that like I was showing you. You need that domain first before you can run that yourself. And then it's just a matter of, okay, well, I want to make sure my ads are crushing it. So you have your ad help and performance. You have this, essentially this 101 class. But then everything is filtered into where you want to work next. And I will tell you, our mastermind every Wednesday is the most popular meeting of the week because it takes Janky, Jennifer, and everybody across the map and puts it in one meeting where we all share each other. It's the most collaborative experience you'll ever happen. No one competes. I've actually had agents in the same market team up. Because you no longer have that scarcity mindset or that, shark eat shark type of, it's everybody can win on Facebook. It all comes down to your follow-up. So conversion, masterminding, ad help, leveraging your automations like your email drip and SMS. I mean, a big part of StreetText is learning. You have the speed to lead part of this. You have conversations. You have an AI component of text messages that go out to those leads. Just as soon as the lead's captured, they're responding, and you have to learn how to role play within that because they think they're speaking to your assistant named Julie. So there's a lot of fun, right? And there's integrations that you can include. There's your own CRMs that you use, whether it's Follow Up Boss or, you name it. We teach you how to put it all together so it becomes your own system.
Awesome. Gia's on the 7-day trial now. Good work, Gia. Well, listen, Marcus, we're coming up against the clock here, and I want to respect everybody's time. Thanks for the information, man. And I know personally, I can't wait to start working with you guys and LabCoatAgent audience. Thanks for being a participant today. Check these guys out, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the mastermind here soon, and we'll go from there. Marcus, it was a treat, my friend, and look forward to doing it again very, very soon.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you, buddy. Touch base with me after this.
You got it. Sounds like a plan. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.